Drawing the line with an upset customer is always one of the most difficult challenges in customer service. People at all levels of the organization struggle with it because it is a form of telling the customer no, which we always try to avoid, and because we know it will probably be worse after we do it. Either the customer gets angrier, the relationship is damaged, or both. However, sometimes it's necessary, and in this video, you'll learn some ways to draw the line with the customer professionally and effectively. So, when do we draw the line? As customer-facing professionals, we are there to serve customers. And sometimes that requires swallowing our pride, biting our tongue, and being on the receiving end of some very unpleasant behavior. However, there are always limits. Always. Sometimes customers are so unreasonable, so unwilling to be satisfied, and so abusive that you have the right to end the conversation. When a customer crosses the line from anger to abuse, the only practical option may be to disengage from the situation. What is abuse? Truly, it's in the eye of the beholder, but here are a few examples. Unwavering insistence on unrealistic demands that the customer knows or should know are not remotely appropriate to the situation. Verbal harassment with inappropriate language, repeated threatening of adverse actions if the customer does not get what he wants. In other words, blackmail. Extremely serious threats. Of course, the gamut of abusive behavior is much wider than this, but this list gives a sense of what we mean by the term. Now, how you react to abuse depends on whether you feel the customer is truly being abusive or just momentarily lost their cool. You'll have to be the judge. If you do feel the need to disengage from a customer who has become abusive, here are a few phrases you can use to warn a customer that you're going to end the conversation or to actually do so. Sir, if you continue to talk to me like that, I'm going to have to end this conversation. Ma'am, if you continue to use that language, I'm going to have to end this call. Sir, I would really like to help you, but if you can't refrain from personally attacking me and using foul language, I'll have to end this conversation. In such situations, when you're simply warning the customer that if she continues to be abusive, you'll end the conversation, the next step is to quickly follow up each warning with a solution-focused question. Now, do you mind if I ask you about what you said was wrong with the replacement item? If you must terminate the conversation, simply tell the customer that you're doing so, but in a professional yet firm manner. If the customer is in a store, you might do so by referring them to your manager, as you don't want to just leave him sitting there with access to other customers or colleagues. Sir, I told you that I would not continue this conversation if you continue to speak to me like that. I'm going to get my manager, and you're welcome to wait here if you would like to speak with her. Ma'am, I told you that I would not continue this conversation if you continue to use that language. I'm disconnecting the call now. Please feel free to call back when we can have a professional discussion, and I'll be glad to try to assist you. When a customer becomes abusive, you should always understand that you have the right to disconnect from such situations, and you should do so calmly and professionally. The line between anger and abuse will be different for each person, but just because you're expected to have a thick skin when working with customers doesn't mean you should have to put up with being personally abused. There's a line even the customer should not be allowed to cross. Don't be afraid to point it out if you have to. If you want to learn more about how to work through challenging customer situations and turn your team into customer heroes, make sure to check out our Rapid Hero virtual training courses at customersthatstick.com.